So about 2 months ago, I had stopped doing as much work, and I wanted to change my life around basically and just work on the things that I had wanted to be working on. Like I wanted to spend more time on YouTube, I wanted to spend more time working out, keeping fit, eating the same diet every day, sleeping at the same time, and not having too many obligations in my day where I couldn't prioritize the things that I wanted to because I had been spending so much time on work. And the first week, it was like an adjustment period, and it was kind of a wake up call. Like, you can plan something and you can try and get something to work, but if you're not ready for that, if you still are carrying residue from working yourself too hard, like I had been, I just worked two 14-day shifts at that time with 1 day break in between. And that was a lot of hard work and really drained me. And then I wasn't eating well, wasn't sleeping the best. And when I changed that around, and after that first week, I was able to have a 30-day period where I did this low stimulation protocol. And then I lowered my work and I was able to get through it so much easier. And I saw a lot more benefit from it, from sleeping at the same time every night, eating the same food at roughly the same time, and then having some sort of schedule to follow every day. I felt good and I felt like I was taking on enough that it was keeping me satisfied, but it was also a bit of a challenge and pushing me at times as well. And I was also enjoying it, becoming better at drawing and that kind of thing, and guitar as well. You can look back and see at those videos. But then when that ended, I wanted to keep going the same thing, but then I thought, no, I'm going to change it a bit. I'm going to do a bit more work for the next couple weeks, and then I'm also going to focus more on my workouts. And I thought that was going to work out, but that was a bad joke. I didn't even mean it to be a joke. But it didn't work out because I had found a good volume of work and then I went and changed it. And it's not to say that change is bad and that you should just be following the same schedule every day. But I felt like I had to, and I felt like I needed that at that time, and it worked for me for the first 30 days. But then afterwards, when I tried to transition, I slowly kind of fell apart because I was working so much. And then my diet wasn't as satisfying, and then I was snacking a lot more because we had that sort of food around, and then I wasn't really feeling good about myself because of that. And then I hadn't had any drive to play video games for ages because I had been working on other things in my life that were kind of keeping me satisfied enough to be seeing results in them, that I didn't need to play the video games and get that kind of sense of satisfaction. But then feeling really unstable and starting to fall apart, I turned back to them again, and then I wanted to spend most of my day just playing video games or watching a movie or something like that. And it's been a tough period, like this past 2 weeks at least. And I think a part of it had to do with changing my meditation around because I thought that would get in the way. And I didn't have as much time in silence. And I think the past 2 days, that's what's made me feel a lot more grounded, having specific time to just sit and literally do nothing, just allow the thoughts to come and just like notice them. And to also have like some sort of a meditation practice like that, for me, creates a lot more peace, a lot more kind of stability in myself and my life. And then I find it a lot easier to have control and say like, all right, what have I got to do today? What can I do today? Rather than following like a strict kind of regime, which I see a lot of people doing, and I thought that was what I wanted to do again. But then I realized like that's why I've failed all these things, because I tried to do too strict of a routine, of a kind of new system, and try and change it all around because I got really excited about the new change that I could be making. And change is a lot slower than we like it to be, and it takes a lot of patience, and most of all, it takes consistency and showing up when you don't really feel like it. Like, I thought that this was going to be my last YouTube video ever because I just was wondering, like, what am I doing? Why am I even doing this? I'm not seeing any results from it. I'm not really getting much from it, and I feel like I'm kind of just talking to myself in a way. And, you know, I'd been watching other YouTube videos because I was not feeling the best, so I was just looking at through other videos and like seeing other people, you know, like looking at this new 75 hard challenge and like these people doing Ironmans and that kind of stuff, because I wanted to feel kind of motivated to get back and do more stuff. And then I just kind of realized that it was kind of nice to watch it, but then it wasn't really useful. It wasn't really doing anything for me. It was kind of getting me motivated, like, yes, I'm going to create a plan and then I'm going to stick to it the next day. And then the next day would come and I would have an okay morning, and then I would crumble apart and just be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to sit down at the computer and play video games, you know, play Hearthstone, which is what I've been playing. It's probably my favorite game that I've been playing over the years. And I'm not saying that video games are bad. Like, I'm probably going to play a few games of Hearthstone Battlegrounds this afternoon, because I still want to play it and I wanted to play it the whole day. But since my recovery was so good, I actually went to the gym. I drove out of town to where there's like a gym kind of place, and I went there, and it was really awkward and weird, but I just did it anyway. And I feel a lot better for doing that, because even though I like working out alone, I need to get out of my comfort zone, because if I'm just staying at home in this kind of small area, then, you know, it kind of keeps me enclosed in some way. And, you know, I need to be able to deal with those kind of social situations a lot better. And I think a part of this change was I wanted to do workouts, and I wasn't really enjoying them, and I wasn't really finding myself doing them or completing them. Like, I would skip them because I wasn't feeling great. I wouldn't skip them. I would like do the first kind of thing and then I'd just leave it behind. And part of that was weakness, but part of that was just I didn't really want to. And now, well, the past week, I thought, I've been doing runs, you know, I hope my leg's feeling better, because I wanted to start playing soccer again. And I had a chance to go back to my indoor team and play with them again. And then I was kind of worried about it mucking up my sleep cycle, and it kind of did the next day. But I was like, all right, I'll just allow myself to rest and recover. That next day, I'll allow myself the space to kind of do this thing. I don't have to be, you know, the best. I don't have to do a big routine and like this crazy recovery. Just go on a walk, and then you can just chill out, watch a movie or something, and then just like play some Hearthstone throughout the day. And that's what I did. And it was quite nice, because then I knew that I was going to get back to the work. And then after that, I realized that I wanted to continue to play soccer, and that it just creates this excitement in me, and all of my attention just goes towards it. And then things in my life seem to come a lot easier, because I feel like I have an obligation, and it's also a social situation. And, you know, it kind of feels like a bit of a purpose kind of thing, like working with other people and just enjoying the game and trying to have fun with other people that want to play. And even though I didn't train, I had a really good futsal game that day, even though we lost. But I played really well, and I was happy with how I played. And I wasn't obsessed about trying to beat people or trying to score goals, but it was just kind of coming back into it, and I was surprised by how easily I just slipped back into it. And then that Sunday, there was a friendly match with my team, and I had found out that this coach from way back when I was younger, he coached our representation team for like our league in our whole area. So there's like this league where you just play with your team in your hometown or whatever, and then the best players from there play a rep team that goes on to play in like a bigger city. And so he'd coached that, and he'd also done these extra training sessions that I'd done with him. And when I was injured, he still invited me to come, and then we would talk about tactics. And I found that really amazing because no one had done that for me. No one was looking to support me when I was injured. And he was giving me tactics and asking me why would we do these drills and kind of that sort of thing, like helping me use my mind a bit more and to think for myself. And I was just like, oh, even though I don't want to stay in my hometown for too long, I feel like I need to play this season because I want to commit myself to a season, because the last 2 years I said I wasn't going to play, and then I ended up playing a few games anyway, and then I wished that I had trained more, because then I hurt myself or I had pushed myself too far and I got too tired. But now I feel like with my extra experience and just not being so caught up in trying to be obsessive about training and listening to my body a bit more. And I guess what I'm trying to say through this is just kind of been a weird rant, not a lot to do with failure, but I've never won like a soccer season. I've never been the best. I've never had like a great season. I've always had little niggles or injuries. I've never been super consistent with anything to see results. Like, I think I've been going to the gym since, not going to the gym, but working out at home since I was about 17. So that's like 5-6 years that I've been working out, and I look like I maybe work out a little bit because, you know, as I said, I haven't been consistent. So basically I've failed in all these kind of things. If you look at it objectively, I've set myself a lot of goals and I have never reached a goal that I've set. I've followed protocols or like habits for like a certain time, but then eventually they kind of fade away. And one thing that I want to state about failure is that there's this quote by Bruce Lee that defeat is a state of mind. You are never truly defeated unless you accept defeat as a reality. So that means even though you may think that you're failing, that you have failed, you only ever truly fail if you accept that and you allow that to dictate your life. And, you know, if you had told me that last week, I probably would have told you to fuck off or something like that, because I just felt so terrible. But then eventually I kind of got through it because I knew that I wasn't going to feel good going down this route, but I didn't feel like I had the strength to be doing the things that I wanted to be doing, like working out and, you know, that kind of thing. And then soccer was kind of like this way for me to kind of get back into it a little bit, and then for me to kind of have some accountability to keeping fit and to also eat well or eat a bit better. And to be honest, these past few days haven't been perfect, but I'm just trying to think of, well, each day I'm trying to follow my habits, but I'm not trying to do them to the extreme. I'm just trying to do the minimum to get myself through. But then if I'm feeling good, then I'll push it, be like, oh, like my Whoop's saying that I have really good recovery today. Hence I went to the gym. I did like a treadmill run, and then I did like a ATG 0 workout, and then I did a few jump squats and then Romanian deadlifts, just to kind of keep that going. And I would have, and you know, I would have liked to do like this extreme kind of workout, but I just try to keep it body weight, try and keep it mostly simple, because the most important thing is showing up consistently if you want to achieve what you want. And you know that one of the hardest things is battling failure and trying to rise up when you don't want to and trying to keep going. And you know, sometimes you just got to allow yourself to slow down so then you can get going again and pick yourself back up to kind of recuperate in that kind of state, because maybe you've been pushing yourself too much, or you've not quite doing what you want to be doing, or you're not listening to your body properly. Or like I was doing, I was just constantly stimulating myself even more, like by watching a lot more YouTube and playing a lot more video games. And I didn't have any moments to kind of sit and just allow myself to feel these things. I was trying to run away from it. And as soon as I just realized that it wasn't going to go away and that it was only going to get worse if I kept trying to run away from it, and then I just sat with it. And it's really tough to just sit with it, but if you just do it, you can just say, all right, I'm going to set a timer just for 10 minutes to do nothing. What I did was I set the timer of 30 minutes because I knew that I had the practice to be able to actually do that, because I've been doing a lot of breath work. I'd still be going to bed on time even though I wasn't feeling the best and gaming for most of the day. And just that 30 minutes that I did yesterday, it just started this cascade effect. And then I was like, at the start of it, I was like, I've got to do the dishes. And I was like, oh my God, that felt like the hardest thing ever to do. It felt like climbing Mount Everest without any training and in my shorts and t-shirt like I am now. It's like, oh my God, I do not want to do that. I'm never going to do that. But then slowly, like, other thoughts came in about maybe I should get this, maybe I should do that. Like wondering, what am I going to do for my next video? Should I get a new camera? Am I going to need a car to be able to go to training? How am I going to earn the money? Am I going to be working too much if I need to earn that money? What's a nice balance between the two? Just like thinking through things and then just allowing them to kind of go, and then the next thought would kind of come. And then after that, I did manage to go and do the dishes, and it felt hard, but it felt gratifying as well, because then I could look and I could see, oh, now it's actually full, now it's like nice and clear. And that step really helped me. And then I was like, and then I was thinking that I was going to become a monk or something, because I was just like, I just want to do simple chores. I just want a simple life. I don't want to have to worry about all these things. And then, I went on down this path because I had started doing inner engineering by Sadhguru. Oh my God. If you don't know, he's like this Indian kind of Hindu guru figure. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to become a monk. Maybe I should finish that kind of course and then see if I can go stay over there for like 6 months or like a few years and then become a monk. Because I've shaved my head. I'm basically there. And then I just kind of sat with it and then kind of ate some good food. And then after I sat down, I watched the video for it, and then I realized, like, there's techniques in there that I want to take into my life, but a lot of the things that he teaches are how to be more grounded in yourself. And basically the step that he had taught me in that lesson was that we are too connected to our bodies and are too connected to our minds. And through meditation, you can get a space in between that, and you don't have to sit in it and feel it, and it have to be such like a daunting and kind of terrible thing. Like, that's the root of kind of our suffering, by clinging too much to things and holding too much onto our body, and to not have like this space. And the best way to create space is to kind of have like that meditation, to kind of let the thoughts come and then realize like your mind's just going to keep going with all these thoughts. You can't stop it. You just got to experience it and let it go. And then I was like, oh, and I felt so much better from just doing that and watching that. And then, come to today where I've been like, I don't feel like I want to continue doing these videos. I feel like I want to stop. And I thought I was going to stop. But then I realized like, oh, even though there's a lot of bad things on YouTube, I don't think what I'm doing is necessarily bad, because there's people that were like me that didn't understand the things that I do now, and that aren't like me and going to teach the same things and the same lessons and talk about the same things as I do. There's a lot of hype and there's a lot of kind of different things. And I've been thinking about getting into shorts so then more people will kind of find my content, because I think that's now like the biggest kind of influencer on getting more people. Like that's how I've even found a lot of good YouTubers, just like watching one of their shorts and then being like, oh, I wonder if this guy has any longer form content. That's just like a tangent about what I could be doing. So yeah, even though I didn't want to, I decided that it's probably for the best that I do try and continue it. So yeah, this video didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. It didn't really turn out how I envisioned it, which is kind of weird, but that's just basically what's been happening in this last week and how I've been dealing with it. And basically, I guess overall that's how I've dealt with the failure. even though this video is it didn't talk about a lot about failure, but that's kind of what it's about. Anyway, that's enough talking. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Oh, I hope that was